president says he's very close to naming a new FBI director to replace Jim Comey. What's your take on this, Niger? I mean, former Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman now reportedly the leading candidate. President Trump met with Senator Wednesday along with 3 other possible replacements. Here they are. Senator Lieberman has no experience as an FBI agent. He endorsed Hillary Clinton during the 2016 presidential campaign. I don't know. I'm not buying it. But what about you?
Well, I think it is a fascinating pick in terms of bringing it into the discussion and of course, changing the narrative. Ultimately, it may not be Senator Lieberman, although Senator Cornyn said that he may be the only person on the planet that could get 100 votes in the Senate for confirmation because he is so independent.
What do you think, Lee?
Look, I think that when I just did a focus group yesterday and was talking to voters, they want to see somebody who is nonpartisan, who is not part of the D.C. establishment, somebody who is not a politician. Now, Joe Lieberman obviously is somebody who's played, he's been on the Republican side, he's been on the Democrat side, he's been obviously an independent. But I think what people want to see is law and order experience, and that's really what they want to have happen and come into the office. So I think there's going to be somewhat of a skepticism if it's anyone who's served as a senator, a congressman, or in a political capacity. What they want to see is law and order.
Yeah, I have to admit I have a little bit of a soft spot for Senator Lieberman because he actually worked very closely with the Congress of Racial Equality in the 1960s, so he has a very interesting and intriguing experience.
He does, but I think there's so many people who want just a cop in that job,
law enforcement,
who want an Elliot Ness, somebody who has not, for the most part, been in politics. And as wonderful a person as Joe Lieberman is, having met him a number of times over the years, he doesn't fit that role, and he doesn't have any certainly recent experience in being even a prosecutor or working in justice or law enforcement at all.
But he does have experience in being a leader and having integrity, and that is something that the FBI director is definitely going to need to bring to the table.
Let me switch gears here because the House can't send. Okay, go ahead, Lee. Yep.
I just want to say it is important that he's a leader, but you can find a lot of leaders who have experience with law and order, and I think that's really what is most important to the American people right now.
So the House cannot officially send the ObamaCare bill or the replacement bill to the Senate until they get the CBO scoring. That's expected to happen next week. House Speaker Paul Ryan reportedly has sent the bill to the Senate, has not sent the bill to the Senate, saying that parts of it may need to be redone depending on the Congressional Budget Office's score. What do you think about this? Lee, you've talked a lot about messaging.
Yeah.
How can the GOP improve messaging to get this bill across the line?
Look, I think number one, they have to talk about what's in it, not what's wrong with it. I think I've been talking to folks more and more, and what they're saying is, I don't want repeal in place, I just want Obamacare fixed. And that was the intent of what this is supposed to do. If we're going to get rid of Obamacare, that was one thing. We never said that's not what the promise was. It was actually to repair what's wrong with it. And I think what they need to be focused on is what is going to be in it for the American people. Right now, they're just saying Obamacare is falling apart. This is a disaster. And we're looking at it, and there are problems with it. So what we need to do is say, look, 24 million people are going to have choice now. We're going to be in a place where states are going to have more than one provider that's actually going to provide better care, more affordable care, and the right things for the American people. We're not taking anything away. And that's not the message that they're focused on. Right now, they're just talking about what a disaster things are. And you can see in polling, more and more people are supporting Obamacare because the Republicans haven't been able to message and convince people that what they have on the table is better than what they're proposing.
The pressure is going to be on President Trump when he gets back from his overseas trip. Get him out there in Kentucky and in states like Arizona and explaining to the American people how this health care bill is going to make their health care better.
Talk about health care.
He really connects on a one-on-one basis with the American people and what they want and need, particularly in these rallies. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, talk to them and stop making it about yourself and make it about them more.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a good point. Do you expect anything dramatic in terms of the CBO scoring as this goes to the Senate?
I hope not, because the vote count was very, very narrow in the last go-around. I mean, they only won by, Republicans only passed the bill by 4 votes, I believe it was. So it's very, very nip and tuck. And right now you have a situation where the biggest crisis in Washington is, believe it or not the Democrats or even the establishment media, but what I call elephant-on-elephant crime. The fact that you have a unfortunately, a bit of a divided party.
And whatever the Senate Republicans do with the health care bill, it's not going to save as much money, period, because everything that we've heard out of them is that
they want to put taxes back in.
Right. They want to put taxes back in. They want to keep Medicaid more generous than the health plan. They want I call them subsidies, the tax breaks to older Americans to buy health insurance. They want them to be more generous. So it's not going to have the cost savings, about $1 trillion in cost cuts in the House bill. Whatever comes out of the Senate for sure will not have that.
I didn't understand that from the beginning, why the Senate has to start from scratch. I mean, why they have to have their own bill. Was there nothing in what the House just spent weeks on doing that they can just repurpose?
It probably wouldn't pass.
To Lee's point, to what Lee's been saying all along, that's just bad messaging. Stop saying start from scratch.
Stop saying, exactly.
Stop saying it.
Because people want to get things done, Lee.
That's right. Yeah. People want to get things done, but I think sometimes egos get in the way. And when they see that there's criticism of one plan, people want to say, well, I'm going to be the one that's going to fix it. That's not the way to go. What we can say is we've learned, we're building, but we're making this right for you. You don't say you're starting from scratch, because essentially you're saying what's in the plan is a bunch of hooey, and nobody wants to hear that. You want to hear that you started with a great foundation. Right. You're going to make it better. Together, this is the right thing for the American people, and they've got to stay on message. They've got to stay focused, and they've got to sell those things so that people feel good about what's coming their way.
Yeah, the other thing is people want to feel like the Republicans are at least close to on the same page and not on all different pages. Lee, Niger, good to see you both. Thank you so much.